Comparing the word that in English with the Korean and Vietnamese, when we learn about foreign languages, main expression or words, phrase, and sentences is quite interesting when we compare other languages. Basically, the communication language or directly the first language or target languages. The communication language is simply to me, and I learn Vietnamese, my target languages. So, and then English will be communication languages. So, but think about when I learned Vietnamese, and there are several meaning expression with that. The words in Korean as well. Let's think about that in English. This is about pronoun or adjective and conjunction and relative pronoun or that kind of word. And it's simply pronoun. And then I like this, I don't like that. So that is just simply the pronoun. And then in English or Vietnamese, and I can directly translate into uh, the word that. So it's very simple. So it different, and then in Vietnamese, it also different. So when there are some words about pronoun that in Vietnamese, and then also uh, in Korean, and also we make some words for that the pronoun, and also the naming about this is close or that is the far, and it's a newly expression, and then in Korean also the words are different when we say about the pronoun itself. And let's think about that clause. That clause is I think um, that uh, it is warm today. So and the that is like clause, the connect clause, like a conjunction. And in Vietnamese, and then there are some words just like that. But in Korean, it's different. And then the sentence, bring sentence in Korean, but using the particle and explain the sentence. So, and then quite different. There's no like conjunction or a relative pronoun. For example, and then I found the book that I bought uh, yesterday. Simply, um, in Vietnamese, there are some words for that, and then but in Korean and it's a modify, and then totally the sentence modify the book and the noun. So the modifying is just like particle, not the mm, relative pronoun. So it's just quite different. And between English and Korean, it's simply the between Vietnamese and Korean is totally different when we talking about that expression, the word. So and then today I review about the comparison with that in English with Korean and Vietnamese, and then there's some that is there's some many meaning and the position in the sentence, and then I compare, when I compare when I compare the that in English between Korean and Vietnamese, it's quite a different grammar pattern or the word pattern. Also, it seems like close to English and Vietnamese with that, but then the pattern of Korean and it's totally different with the English and Vietnamese with that. Only the pronoun directly can translate the word by word, but the relative pronoun or conjunction, and because of the grammar in Korean is totally different from uh, English and Vietnamese because there's a particle in Korean, so and then it's very unique. Uh, Now I talk about that comparing the word with the um, that that is a very important word in English and also it's very useful word. Let's see, and I can compare with in English may content of comparison with that in English with the Korean and Vietnamese. That is the pronoun, relative pronoun and conjunction in English. That is the similar in Vietnamese, but totally different in Korean because of in Korean there in the sentence we did that and used by the particles after reading with. Okay, then and add my contents here, and I can get some result from AI um, about that. Okay, even not so much, very simple guide about it. Okay. I preserve your meaning comparing the word that in English with the Vietnamese and Korean, the personal relative pronoun, conjunction, pronouns, and the grammar pattern. Written English, word in Korean, and in English, the word that has many different functions. It can be a pronoun, determiner, conjunction, or relative pronoun. Vietnamese has several similar structures that correspond to English, that but Korean is completely different because Korean uses particle and modifier form instead of the singular. When we compare English, Vietnamese, and Korean, the differences become very interesting. In English and Vietnamese, we often can translate that directly in meaning, but in Korean, the grammar does not use a single equivalent word. Instead, Korean modifies the noun directly by using both stem and particles. For example, English, I found the view that I wrote yesterday, pronounce tôi kiếm tại con sách mà tôi đã mua hôm qua. Everything triggered, that's it. Yesterday, the two now modified directly. In Vietnamese and English, that function like a relative pronoun, but in Korean, there is no relative pronoun. Korean use a modifier form, and when we get it attaches the cause to the noun, and that as a pronoun like that can be translated directly into Vietnamese, but not always directly into Korean. Those Korean often use pivot and pivot or context dependent pronunciative. Because of Korean particle and noun modifying structure, grammar pattern is completely different from English and Vietnamese. This makes Korean unique in how it expresses the meaning of the text. Okay.